Tell him, Steve Dave.
Okay, so Ming, you're here.
I'm here.
How you doing, Ming?
Hello.
I've got a disoriented quid on my hands over here. A guy who loves the game of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
A guy who
you must be pretty down
you
right about
rocked
now.
him. You rocked him. You rocked him by not inviting him to this game.
Really?
Yeah, but you invited me. No, and I don't give a fuck about baseball at all.
I just can't believe that everybody at this table is one baseball fan. And he was.
Oh no, Ming's a big baseball fan.
Well, I mean, out of.
Well, I apologize. I thought when I told Brian, since you two were so close, that he would have naturally invited you.
He's putting it on you.
I'm putting
I know. He's trying to fucking. He's trying to pass the buck over here. Yeah.
Even I didn't try that.
I love comic books and baseball. And this was.
Well, you didn't miss much on the comic side.
We were invited to set up a table.
Whoa, we weren't invited. We had to pay for it.
All right, we had to pay. Well, it was an invitation, but yes, we had to pay for it.
How much was it?
It's $100 to set up a table at the Lakewood Blue Claws' first ever comic book day. And I thought it was going to be huge. They're the single A affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Why do they play in Jersey if that's the case? Jersey doesn't even have a team, so I guess that's why.
There's a whole bunch of mine.
I'm trying to understand. I don't know anything about baseball.
Well, maybe if you fucking
educate me a
instead of
little.
fucking blowing us off and not coming at the last fucking minute, maybe you should have fucking went.
I did blow you off. I apologize for not wanting to bring my fucking 4-year-old niece out in 95-degree weather
So just come.
to
Just,
a fucking.
just
well,
come.
you know what? You know why I
Just
didn't.
you come then.
You know what?
Do something just with us once in a while.
I was what? With who's us? You and Alicia, your kid. Quinn wasn't invited. Plus, Ming tricked me. When Ming first told me about it, he was like, he pimped it. You basically said it was a fair. You were like, oh, why don't you come down to Blue Claws game? It's going to be a real fun time. It's American family good time. And I was like, okay, Ming, well, what is it all about? Oh, they got rides, they got pony, they got this, they got that. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And then when I talked to Ming later, he's like, I think they have a moon bounce, and there's going to be 2 vendor tables.
What did I tell you, though? What did I tell you after when you told me you were going? What did I tell you when you said it's going to be a fair? What did I say?
You said, no, it's not going to be a fair.
Right.
It's, Ming's lying to you.
I didn't say he's lying to you, but I was like, I don't know what he's talking about, but there ain't going to be no fair.
Yeah, and I said I was under the impression that it was a fair, which is why I would bring the kid. She's not the hugest baseball fan, you know. So that's I was going to bring her to the fair, but then when I talked to Ming,
maybe I talked it up too much. They do have a kids area with a moon bounce and a playground area. My kids love it, so I thought.
Did you bring your kids?
No.
What the fuck then?
I didn't.
So I talked to Walt after that, and I said, I'll take the ride down with you, and I'll bring the kid. But then when the day came, and I knew that there wasn't the fair, and Ming told me, he's like, there's only one other vendor table.
Why does that mean anything to you, though? There's only one other vendor table.
Well,
like, that's part of your
because you know what
decision?
that means to me? That means I got to sit in a fucking stadium with my fucking 4-year-old niece who's not going to want to sit there and watch perhaps the most boring game ever since fucking chess.
But if there was 100 vendors there, well, at least we can go look at the comics, Sage.
Well, we can go look at stuff. Like there would be activity, and she could like
comics?
look at different things. I don't know. Maybe they got toys. Maybe they got other shit here. I didn't know it was exclusively comic. That was the other thing. I didn't know it was comic book day.
What'd you think it was?
I actually went on the website and like the Blue Claws website. Well, first I thought it was a fucking fair, obviously. You know, I thought I was like, well. and then I was like, okay, well, they're going to have vendors, so I thought like
but
they would have.
But you keep bringing up the vendors. You keep bringing.
Well, I thought that there would be like food. It would be like that fair kind of atmosphere.
There are vendors there. You get ice cream there.
Right, I know. I heard your fucking complaints about the ice cream later. So we went. So I called Walt and I said, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go.
I knew it.
I actually spent the weekend putting the pool up for the kids so she could swim around, and she was swimming around Sunday, and she probably had a better time. You told me things that made me. I did wish that I went. You guys got that. Well, first, Walt, you told me that Ming you were going all out. You knew it was 2 vendors.
Yeah.
And you still were trying to make it an event.
I do.
You said
vendors.
you basically fucking cut down at like a Canadian forest to make this fucking giant sign that said what?
It
What did it
said
say?
Jane and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
How many pieces of paper did you use to make that
I
banner?
think it had to be about 36. It was an 8 foot sign.
How many toner cartridges did you use?
The amount of lead in those toner cartridges and shit, all that ink and color and
I
shit.
did it in full color too.
So basically, our
It's like
table.
the BP spill in his fucking office over here, man. All kinds of toxic chemicals and shit.
So the $100 now just bumped up. How much was it? How many cartridges did you use?
I think I burned through 1 or 2, which those are not cheap cartridges. But
Did you save the sign or did you tear it down
No,
afterwards in anger?
I threw it out afterwards.
To recycle it at least.
I think it went to it.
I don't know. When you throw it in a regular garbage, do they go through it and recycle it for you? So the sign didn't work out. I also heard that it was a huge J action figure crowd that you were expecting. For some reason, Ming tells Walt to fucking like solely focus on J action figures.
No.
Did you?
He goes. I go. So what? I go. I. This is what I think we should bring. I say.
Nothing.
No, quarter boxes. You fill up boxes of long boxes full of comic books where people can just buy 4 for $1 because no one's going to be there to buy anything of value.
Well, Ming was right in as much as it was like a very family-oriented kind of thing where he said there were a lot of kids there.
Right. But my feeling was no one's going to be there to buy any kind of like primo comics. They just want to buy something cheap they can give their kids to read while they're at the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I said I'm gonna bulk up on majority of just cheapo garbage that we would love to get
I'm
rid
going to
of.
bring our crap.
And I go, what do you think? And he goes, well, we should definitely bring the...
Are you crazy? You haven't mentioned J action figure once.
We should bring the View Askew
I got 4
stuff.
more signs just for J action figure.
The View Askew merchandise. I was like, okay, what do you want to bring then? Well, bring the Buddy Christ. And then he said that he wanted to bring some signed books. I was like, that's good. That's kind of small, and you can fit in a bag easily, and somebody might buy that. And then he's like, we got to bring a lot of J merchandise.
It's a big J town down
And he goes
there. Right?
like, I go, Jay stuff. I go, why? He goes, well, he's huge down there. That's the exact words.
35 minutes from the stash, there's a pocket where you, if you had a special like infrared reader to know like where Muse is popular around the country, it would be like a hotspot, like fucking Outbreak or something.
that was the rumor. It's like the Verizon 3G coverage map. I thought it was,
What made you think that the J stuff would be popular?
I thought
down there?
I thought it was Jersey. It was a different part of Jersey. I thought he'd be huge down there.
Come on. You thought 4 to 10-year-olds even knew who the fuck he was?
Maybe not 4 to 10, but like 12 and over.
The 12 and over crowd is
Yeah.
going to want a J action figure
All right.
from the animated series, I might add.
Yeah, we brought the animated J's.
Yeah, I guess.
And how many did you sell?
I don't think we sold any.
How
The fish weren't biting like you were hoping, huh?
we sold
You
how
brought
much
the wrong
money?
bait,
Do you know how
bitch.
much money we made on
I think
that day?
that day I think we made $51.
So we were $49
In the hole.
short, and yeah, we're in the hole, $49.
Which
in the
Ming
hole.
couldn't predict. That's not his fault.
No, certainly not. No, I think.
Well, how many vans did you rent to bring that J shit down there?
Yeah. So the I don't think we'll do it again next year.
If you have anything to say about it, no, I don't think so. Or
I
if
think
they lower the price,
I think they should give us a comp next year.
that's. I think we might
That's
be able
fair,
to raise
right?
that.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
guys
think
keep
so.
an eye on the other vendor? Were they close to you, or were they like across the way?
No, I walked over to the other vendor.
How they seem to be doing?
They seem to be doing a Boffo business since they were fucking giving away all their shit for free.
No, that's yeah.
That kind of hurt. That kind of put a crimp in our
That puts a dent in your sales pitch.
Well, it's free comic book day.
Free comic book day.
Oh, that wasn't what it was?
It was comic book day, like a little mini comic book con going on with the baseball
Okay.
games going on.
That's not what I...
And
Well,
the
nobody
other-
told me about this, so I'm only piecing together information.
But
You
the
weren't
other,
there, right?
No, I wasn't,
the other
I wasn't
vendor.
even thought of there.
But did you man the table the whole time, Ming?
And,
Oh yeah. He's watching the game. We were all watching the game. There was fucking no customers.
Well, you could see the game from the table, or no?
Oh, we had great location right behind home plate.
That's where you set your table up.
Well, I mean,
What?
up on a concourse.
Oh, okay.
No, not on the field.
Like, not on the field. I thought you meant like in the aisles, like where the guys try to sell
No,
shit.
no, on the concourse. We could see a perfect vantage point to all the action from where we're sitting.
And it's good because it's cheap down there too. Like the tickets are the tickets are cheap.
Well, we didn't even have to pay for a ticket, but the food wasn't cheap.
So yeah, the tickets were comp then. You didn't have to. There was an insult to injury where you had to
No,
pay for the tickets too. The food wasn't cheap. You said that you bought some ice cream and it was too soupy for your taste.
Yeah, they charged me $6 for a bowl of ice cream, and it was just basically cream. But I was going to go back and demand the money back, the $6 back, but the line was so
Well,
long.
who sold it to you? Was it a cute girl?
It was a teenage girl. But
I've spent as much on this ice cream as I gave a maid to take care of my room for a week.
I was like, you know what?
I'll get in line and then buy more is what you did.
No,
right?
well, they said
I'll
hard
show
ice
them.
cream.
They haven't broken me. You bought more ice cream, right?
Well, my daughter wanted hard ice cream. I didn't go back in the same line.
Okay.
They said there's hard ice cream around on the other side of the concourse.
He went to the bathroom, smeared shit under his fucking nose so it looked like he had a fake mustache to avoid embarrassment. Hello, senor. I would like some Frio cream. And then you said she took one lick, and she's like,
She took one lick, and it was all soft. So I spent $11 on an ice cream cone and a cup of ice cream.
And he didn't stay for the whole game either, right?
Not because of that, but because I was just getting boring after a while.
You mean from the first pitch?
No, I actually was into it after the first pitch. You know, I haven't been to a baseball game in a long time, and I couldn't even tell which team was up at a certain point. It was all just blended together.
Because you were so drunk. You're like, come on, Alicia, it's time to leave. You're driving. There was one thing that did make me wish I was there. You met a person of note.
About this.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you met a person of note there, and I felt bad for you because this seems to be your fucking lot in life. It consistently happens to you. There's a guy. His name is Fred Hembecker, and
Fred Hembeck.
Read this, Quinn. Read that. What does that look like to you?
It does look like Fred Hembecker.
It's Hembeck.
Okay, well, it's I know it's Hembeck now. As if I'm like fucking mixing up the president's name. It's fucking some guy who used to draw.
Basically,
give a little bit of his history.
He broke into the field as a humorous cartoonist.
Yeah, this cover's making me laugh.
Absurd concepts involving Spider-Man, or he would intercross Spider-Man would meet Superman in a strip,
All right.
and it would be like some humorous.
It wasn't funny, is what you're trying to say.
No, I actually was a fan of it. I actually enjoyed
When you
his
were
work
young.
when I was a young teen.
How old were you?
Like 12 to 14 is when I
At 14, you're like, oh, Hembecker. You've crossed Spidey and Soups again? Wait, Spidey's wearing his cape?
I'm not going to lie and say that I did not find his work enjoyable, though.
Mm-hmm. I knew you at 14.
Even at 14.
So you were in ninth grade fucking
enjoy
knee
his
slapping
work.
at this fucking shit that I'm looking at right now?
It was clever. I noticed when we get, because the baseball stadium gave away a comic book, a free giveaway. And on the cover artist of this free giveaway is Fred Hembeck. I noticed it.
Childhood fucking hero.
When I walked through the doors, I was like,
into teens.
It took a millisecond for me to recognize it was Fred Hembeck's artwork.
Right.
I say there's
mostly because Fred Hembeck has a job at the stadium now handing out free comics.
No. So then I say to myself, there's only going to be one other person who knows Fred Hembeck in the stadium, Mike, when he gets here, because Mike wasn't there yet.
Mike's very knowledgeable about comics.
Right. He knew it was Fred Hembeck immediately. So I didn't think that Fred Hembeck was in the stadium, though. We're setting up, and over to PA it says Fred Hembeck is on the mound and he's going to throw out the first pitch.
Which I guess is somewhat of a is that an honor?
Yeah, I mean, at a minor league game, they'll get the town drunk to throw out the fucking first ball. I mean, who cares?
So you're equating fucking Fred Hembeck to the town drunk, a guy who can't even get it together enough to get the money to get into the stadium. Do you know any other notables that threw out the first pitch at the stadium?
I threw it a first pitch.
You did?
Proves my point.
All right. Now I got a very clear idea of they see Ming fucking stuffing his sign into the garbage. They're like, hey, do you got a minute? You want to throw out the first pitch?
It's not something everybody gets to do. I won a logo contest, and I get to do it again because I won the other logo contest.
Yeah, after the town drunk throws his first pitch.
Right.
Accidentally throws a scotch bottle at the catcher. Holy shit! I still get my turn.
All right. Well, anyway, Fred Hembeck's on the mound.
So he's on the mound and he's going to throw it out. He's thinking he's hot shit.
No. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. So I realized, after the PA says he's there, that he's at the stadium, and then they say
there's a resounding who, and you're like, wait, did they say boo or who?
How many people are in the stadium?
They said they announced attendance was 5,100 people.
Okay, so 5,098 probably don't know who Fred Hembeck is.
Mm-hmm. There's two guys that do,
guess.
and they're like, you and Mike.
I'm excited.
He's like, I've done that shit before.
So they announced that Fred Hembeck will be signing the comic book behind home plate, where we are.
Uh-huh.
So he gets up there and he goes to the table, and some parents are bringing their kids over to get the comic book signed. And you know the mindset of these parents with their kids. They don't know who Fred Hembeck is.
If somebody's signing something, they're like...
They want it signed for whatever
seems,
reason.
right,
Yeah.
it seems like impressive to the kids.
So I get the courage up, and I announced that I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to get this signed.
just in case. Just in case.
And I'm going to get it signed. And not only am I going to get it signed, I'm actually going to say something to him. And I don't ever do this. I'm going to be like, hey, man, I really was a fan of your stuff. I enjoyed it a lot. And
Clearly you're being sincere, too.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm going to be like, I guess a lot of people have this. They're like, I'm going to say something to Hembeck that's going to make him stop whatever he's doing, look up at me, and be like, hey, bro, we need to go get a drink and talk or whatever.
He's like, I'm the town drunk. I threw out the last fucking pitch. Want to go get a drink?
Let's go get blottoed.
No, I don't mean like get a drink.
So you go up to him, and in your mind, you're like,
I'm going to knock this fucker's socks off.
His socks are going to be on the other side of the
Because
stadium.
I'm going to tell him shit that I'm a fan of, that he's going to be like, I can't believe there's somebody here who knows this obscure stuff. I'm going to, and I'm thinking like he's going to see me as like somebody that he wants to talk to or something.
Right.
I don't know why I thought that.
Right, because if somebody came to you and said, like, started talking a bunch of obscure shit, your reaction
that I did though?
That you did, yeah, your reaction would be like, let's go hang out. Like, is that what you would say?
I don't know what I was thinking. Do you know that what I'm talking about?
It was hot out. I didn't have my sun hat. Yes, I do, yeah.
Do you know that feeling of like, I know something, or I'm going to say something that's going to be so meaningful.
These other fucking 5,098 people don't really appreciate Bill Hembeck.
Fred.
They're a bunch of... Fred, is that his name? I'm sorry, Fred. Fred, I gotta look at it again. Fred Hembeck. There are a bunch of fucking Johnsons out there that don't know shit. They don't even know his name.
Okay.
I'm going to
be the guy that's going to be... I'm going to make his day and my day.
You know,
right. Both days are going to be made.
I met Roddy Piper once, the wrestler, and I told him a story that made him start crying. He literally broke down and started crying. His son was like, "Oh my god, like my father,
I molested your son."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I told him the story. Like when I was a kid, I went to.
Well, wait, I'll tell his story first.
No.
And then you can definitely.
No, it's a short story.
Someone
It's a
making
short
a
story. It's a
wrestler
short story.
cry.
He's going to fucking trump your story big time, Walt.
No, not at all.
He likes doing that.
It wasn't even that bad of a story, but I just said, when I was a little kid, like he was my favorite wrestler, and my father surprised me by taking him to a match that he was at, and I was like, it was like the biggest thing that me and my dad had done up until that point. Like I fucking loved Roddy Piper, and I'm telling him the story, and I'm looking at him, and I see his eyes are glazing up, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. He just starts pouring.
At this point, how old are you? When you told the story to a Roddy?
Late 20s, mid 20s.
Roddy goes, I wish I still had that money.
Yeah, and his son like ended up talking to me for like an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's
what you were looking for.
Yeah. I wanted him back to cry.
Oh, he did when he went home to his fucking one-room fucking in the boarding house with a bare electric bulb and shit. I used
Cooking
to be a
toast
god.
on a hanger.
Scooping Walt's on eating ice cream out of the garbage. I was a god amongst men. Fred, shut the fuck up! I'm gonna fucking kill you! I'll kill you. Spidey, look at you with Soup's cape on. So crazy. Don't the kids like me anymore? What happened to Fred Hembecker?
I used to be Fred Hembecker.
Yeah. So you're in line.
You be Fred Hembeck, then I'll tell you.
Okay.
I mean, visually, no one can see what we're talking about, but you're sitting there, sitting at a table. Your head is down.
Like one of those folding tables.
Yeah, like a.
How long was the line?
like
How long
we
did
are
you wait
right
in
now.
line for? Right, you're like, well, you just said you know, but for the people that don't know, for all you people that aren't sitting at this fucking table with us right now in the store, just so you know, it's like a folding table.
Right. How long was the line?
Did you wait longer for
1
ice
second?
cream or to meet
Yeah.
Fred Hembecker?
It was there was one person in front of me.
No, did he have like a
It
P?
was
Did he?
Chief.
Did he? He cut him. Okay, so you're waiting at the
Do you want to
table.
hear this or not?
Yes, you're waiting at the table, and in your mind,
I'm waiting for less than a second. I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, who do you want to make it out to? And I was like,
and his head's still down, or does he
his
look
head's
at
still
you?
down. You can make it out to Steve Dave. I was going to give it to Brian.
Ah.
He goes, well, which is it, Steve or Dave? And I said, well, it's a joke.
He doesn't like that kind of tomfoolery.
No, this is a guy
He
who
said, so which
dabbles
is
in
it,
humor.
Steve and Dave?
Yeah, he goes, which is it, Steve or Dave?
Would you say he dabbles in humor?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
that's
obviously. He appears to be a stranger to it.
Jesus Christ.
So I say, it's Steve-Dave. It's a joke for my friend. I go, I want to let you. I just want to tell you. I said, I'm stumbling and bumbling because I'm not that guy.
Were you nervous? Like, would you say you felt some anxiety?
I was a little nervous. Not like where I'm like going to get on an airplane nervous, but I was like kind of like.
Or even getting married nervous?
Yeah, I was like, I had a little sweat on my back, but
maybe that's why. You got fucking water pouring down your face. You're shaking.
on my back only.
You haven't blinked once. Your eyes are all dry and got that white spittle in the corners of your mouth.
I wasn't that nervous, but I definitely felt a little moisture on my back. So I say, and I know it came across as like not coherent, like in terms of my sentences didn't make sense. I was like, I was a big fan of yours growing up, and really dug your Marvel Age stuff. And what else did I say?
I just imagine you like Mr. Krabs when he fucking tried to hit on Mrs. Puff, and he's like, so you said I'm a fan of your Marvel Age stuff.
I'm a fan of Marvel Age stuff and the FF roast. I got your omnibus, I said, and
so how he had enough work that they collected it
in an omnibus,
and you bought it.
Yeah. And I said, I bet you, and he didn't even look up.
You were the guy.
He didn't even look up. And then I said, well, I bet you were happy that Brother Voodoo got his own comic because his running gag for years was Brother Voodoo was like a fifth string character one of the most ridiculous characters in comics. And he was always doing strips about Brother
Did you
Voodoo.
think you would have won his heart by this point? You wouldn't even have to pull Brother Voodoo out of your back pocket?
Brother Voodoo out. And he goes, then he looks up, not even all the way. He goes, yeah, they didn't even call me. And then he puts his head back down. That was it. He shuffled the book over the table, gave it to me, and I just walked away. I was like, "Oh, that didn't go anywhere."
I just lost the respect of my daughter.
She was with me too.
Was she?
Yeah, she was.
Was she confused, or was she just like?
She didn't know what was going on.
Daddy, that man just pwned you.
How would she know? She
Daddy,
had no
fail. No, of course you. Well, I don't know if maybe you had built up the history and shit prior
To her?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Like he drew the cover of this comic.
I just said to her, I was like, "Come over." I go, "Just want to stop over here. I want to get this guy to sign this comic."
Yeah, he's this guy. She's like, "Oh, that guy, the guy that's as close to becoming invisible as you can get without actually being invisible."
Why would you say that?
Because this fucking nobody treated you like a fool. You went up
treat me
there,
like
you
a fool.
fucking, you spilled your childhood guts to him, and he's just like, whatever.
No,
That's shitty.
It just didn't go the way I thought it would.
Did Mike meet him?
Yeah, Mike went over and talked to him.
Can just talk into Ming's mic real fast. I want to know how your experience went with this.
Well, wait a minute.
this
Ming
guy.
had an experience because I sent Ming up to talk to him.
Well, let's hear Mike's first, and then because if somebody comes in the store. So you went to him. Now, did he receive you any better? Or?
Oh yeah, I made him cry.
Or did you?
I
really?
did, yeah. I said, "Thank God for Dr. Voodoo being an Avenger now."
It was 15 minutes of jokes like that, and then you just started crying.
Absolutely, just started crying. No, actually, he did look up to me, and he said, "Yeah, it was great." And about as
So
How
Yeah.
much personality do you have?
He wasn't the most charismatic dude in town.
No. Actually, he had about as much charisma as the dude who sold me the hot dog.
But what didn't you think? Like like me and you, we knew who Fred.
That was
Hembeck
after hours in the parking lot. That's a euphemism.
Ew.
The quote unquote.
They spent the $51 they made on Mike giving some fucking escort a blowjob.
But we enjoyed.
Where's that money?
We enjoyed his work as
Ming
teams,
held up
right?
his giant sign.
Oh, yeah, he was-
Fucking Mike was behind it with the escort.
Do you think that Lowen, like we enjoyed his work, and that we would have thought a guy who created that? Wouldn't you think he'd be a little bit more zany and more personable?
Sure, like you'd expect Matt Groening to be, because that's sort of
Bite your tongue. This dude is nowhere near Matt Groening.
It's-
But I think Matt
got
Groening
the-
definitely
You
was
think he ripped
influenced
him
by
off?
Hembeck.
Sure.
Not
Yeah.
ripped off, but I bet you there's an influence there.
I'm not giving him any credit. I don't like the way he treated you guys. Fuck him.
Well, I mean, I just don't. He didn't know who we were.
The fact that somebody stands in a line for a fucking guy who, like, quite frankly, like, I mean, he's not a titan of the industry, nor was he ever. Right?
But what did I expect him to do?
What did he expect
expect
it was going to be? What the fuck did he think when the Blue Claws contacted him And, you know, through his fucking grandmother's phone, who fucking relayed a message, says he probably doesn't have a fucking phone line. And they're like, oh, hey, Bill, or Fred, rather. Sorry. I don't know why I keep calling him Bill. Fred, they want you to go down to the Blue Claws and sign copies of this comic that you did a cover for. Now, do you think he got paid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he gets paid. He gets probably a room for the night. Well, maybe, right?
No, he lives in New York. I bet she just...
They made him drive back?
Day. Yeah.
Gave him fucking bus fare back. And, you know, you're going to get to go to the game. At one point, he could have been like, nah, I don't want to do that. Not come down there and bring all that fucking negative energy to two fucking guys you said you were 14? That was fucking 26 fucking years ago, 28 years ago? And you fucking 26 years ago, a guy like you, people you've gone to school with. I remember decades ago, you'd be like, I waved to him and they fucking looked at me and just kind of looked away. Why did I wave to him? Why would I, you know, now I feel like a dick. The guy that you worked with at Food Town dismissing you because he's with his businessman friends. Yet another fucking schmuck that you go up to and you're just like, not only am I going to say like, hello, but I'm going to pull something out to show this guy. He could have been Roddy. He could have been Rowdy Roddy.
Right.
But instead, he was a fucking bitter dickhead.
I'm not saying he was a bitter dickhead. He just wasn't impressed with my knowledge of him. Maybe he thought I just pulled it out of my BlackBerry and just looked him up, and I was just being a jerk or something.
Yeah. Looking at you, you think you're carrying a BlackBerry around?
I don't know.
Gizmo and Gadget.
It didn't go the way I wanted. But this is what people do, though. Like, what you're doing is wrong, though.
Why is that?
Is like it didn't go... My personal experience... He didn't meet my personal experience. I'm going to hold it against him as if like he should have done a song and dance for me.
No. I'm not saying that he should have met this fucking fantasy world that you created the fucking 5 seconds that you were in line where you guys fucking went on vacation together. I'm saying that he could have at least been fucking civil and to not look up and just be like, oh, hey, you know, how you doing? Glad handing a little bit, you know? He could have done that. Like, don't take the money. Don't take the position of sitting at the fucking table if you're just going to be a douche the whole time. You know, I got Ming to go up, and I fed him lines to say to the guy. I was like, okay, he didn't like that. I'm going to come at him with even more obscure. Did you
shit.
think it was your approach? So you're like, maybe it wasn't the information. It was that I was fucking sweating all over him.
That could have been the case.
So I said, Ming, okay. So we had to go a little like a little. I was Fred, and I told him what to say, and we had to go over it a couple times because he kept forgetting.
We had to rehearse it. We rehearsed it for a good 5 minutes.
I want to keep an eye on these J figures. The hot commodity.
So I set him up with some more obscure work that he did.
I noticed you at the laundromat last week, Fred.
Then you go up, and what does he say to you then?
You told me to go up and be animated, so that's what I did.
But I watched you. You didn't look very animated, though.
I was low. I was probably a little more animated than you were. I shook his hand.
You didn't even watch me do it.
I just.
I mean, how do you know how animated I was?
I tried to keep it high energy. You're not high energy.
His approach was high energy, Walt?
His?
Yeah.
From what I saw, it wasn't as high energy as I asked him to be. I wanted him to go up and be like almost.
You wanted
manic.
him basically to almost get arrested.
I did the Fed rehearsed lines, and he was he lit up. He lit up.
He didn't light up?
What did he say?
Where were you standing?
He did,
What
lit
did he
up.
say? Tell him the exact things that he said.
He looked out. He looked up at me.
He kind of in a scoffing way and
Not in a
said,
scoffing way. He was.
"You're not old enough to know that stuff."
He
That's
had
what
a
you told me
smile on his
yesterday, yeah.
face. He had a smile on his face when he said that, though.
But he said you're not old enough to know
Yeah,
that?
like,
Well,
you
he
know,
thinks you're a fucking 14-year-old because you look so young.
I think
and shit.
he might have something for younger people, I guess.
Like, what has he done recently that anybody would be aware of? Aside from this free comic and a fucking... An embittered, begrudging fucking appearance at a minor league baseball game.
Fandom artist.
Says who?
That's just a known thing. He's been deemed the greatest fandom artist of all time.
By who?
By the industry.
Who? What industry? The comics industry?
Yes, the
Who the fuck? What heads of the industry got together and they're like, hey, fucking Fred Hembeck is fucking, he's the guy. Who said this?
He's the greatest fandom artist of all time.
Maybe the most well-known?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, there's a difference there. I'm not giving it to him. Quinn, you giving it to him after the way you treated all three of our friends?
Yeah, I am, because I
Tell
should have
him
been
that
at
you
that
look
fucking
like-
game. Fuck these guys.
Yeah, that's true.
I apologize. I feel bad. I mean, I really wish you were there. I just didn't think you'd ever come.
Oh, would have went. Absolutely would have went.
Dude, you're getting an invite to everything now.
I have season
I
tickets.
gotta go get underwear and socks later tonight. You want to
Oh
come?
my God. I have season tickets to the Staten Island Yankees.
Do
So,
you?
yeah, I'm all about.
All right. I didn't. I mean, damn. I really wish you would have went.
I would have loved to.
He just didn't notice that fucking Yankees hat you've been wearing for the past 8 months. It's coming down here doing the show.
I thought that was just some sort of fashion
Oh,
statement.
you thought he was a bandwagoneer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that past him either.
Or the fucking Yankee hat I've been wearing for the past 15 years. I mean,
Yeah, you got upset. You thought you lost that.
But you know what? I'm a big Devils fan, but I would not have an interest in going to a minor league game.
But you're a baseball fan.
yeah, I like watching
All
baseball.
right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Never happen again.
It's in the past. It's in the past.
It won't happen again.
Like I said earlier, though, I wished that I had gone because where Ming fucking failed so dismally, I would have come through for you. I would have fucking annoyed and agitated that dude until he had to pay attention to me. And you had a great idea, and I told Suzanne afterwards, and I was like, that would have been awesome if Suzanne went up and she like pulled her shirt aside just a little bit of a nipple slip, and then just like went on and on and on about fucking how she was a fan of his and shit. I thought that would have been pretty awesome just to watch that because I would have get my video recorder and shit. And
Well, he
record that
got a drawn Spider-Man in a cape on a tit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
could have done that. And then Walt would have been like, "Oh, you've done it again."
All right, so that's how it went.
That's how it went. But
Not well. I would consider the whole the whole afternoon sales, Hembeck, ice cream wasting. It was a pretty abysmal.
it was an
afternoon.
utter failure.
Yeah, it was an F.
Surprisingly, though, like that kind of train wreck, I'm like, fuck, why didn't I go? Because if it had been like the ice cream was cold, the fucking Hembeck was friendly, you know, the money was being made, I would be like, that doesn't sound that interesting. But what was interesting, Mike actually grabbed a couple of the comics. Now, this comic called Baseball Heroes, which they gave away for free at the show. It features fucking artwork by fucking fan favorite and fucking king of the fucking industry as declared by these fucking faceless Marvel and DC heads. A comic called Baseball Moments Real Life Heroes.
Yeah, without the people being able to read the magazine, it's kind of hard to like convey just how fucked up it is.
Well, what's really fucking weird is not like it's not that the art is terrible. It's not that, you know, it's just like you said, the show is, or the game, I'm sorry, the day was geared towards kids 8 to 12.
5 to 12.
5 to 12, you think this comic is aimed at? I'd say so. Yeah, I mean the writing's pretty simple, and the comic is basically a guy who goes with his daughter to a baseball game.
The daughter is like in her 20s, though.
Right, the daughter's easily
she's
in
a
her
teenager.
20s.
19.
Right. Well, they say she's a teenager.
Oh, do they?
Well, yeah. Teenagers with superpowers.
Okay, so she's a teenager. You thought they
She
were
looks like an adult woman, though.
She does.
She could use a little more meat on her bones, I think. Personally.
So the guy who looks a little bit like Reed Richards with that silver in his hair,
definitely.
And his daughter go to a baseball game, and
But they don't even get inside the stadium. They're just outside of a
they
stadium.
could be outside a public library. You would never know because there's nothing that would really let you know they're outside a stadium. But neither of them are even wearing baseball hats. So the guy's reading a paper. It appears, right?
A newspaper.
And he's complaining about teenagers having superpowers, and the girl's like, "Yeah, I know, right?" So, like, obviously, you come to find that she has superpowers later on, and she's like, "Okay, come on, I want to go inside." And so, dude walks inside with his daughter, and he drops something, doesn't he? He drops
a
Cup of soda.
he drops a cup of soda on the ground, and she's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And he says, basically, I have a life-ending illness. I mean, that's what he says. He says to her, he's like, "Oh, nothing." And she's like, "No, that's something." And he goes, "All right, fine. I have Lou Gehrig's disease."
I have a disease that attacks the brain and spinal cord.
Yeah. What 5-year-old is like, "Oh, okay, let me read on." So she's like, "Wait a second, what's going on here?" And he was like, "All right, sorry, I just didn't have a chance to mention it to you. We did a ton of tests. They diagnosed me with ALS, right? The disease that attacks the spinal cord and the brain." And she's like, "You're sick, I'm out of here." She says, "You're sick, I'm going to take a walk, I'll be right back." And he starts going, come back. But there's no panel where she's like, "I love you, Dad. I just need to make a phone call. I'll be right back. I don't know how to do it." He just, like, you see him in the background, like, trying to hail her down, like, trying to be like, "Come back," you know?
Right.
She just walks away from him and gets on the phone. So she calls these people who, her friends, obviously, they're in this little apartment, and they're all like, "Hey, what's going on?" and she's like, I need you to look something up. But first, they talk about how they destroyed this gang of thieves.
Because they're the superpowered teenagers.
Because they are the superpowered teenagers, right? This is her fucking little gang here. And then she goes, it's my dad. He has something called ALS. And the girl goes, oh, Heather, we're so sorry. And the word balloon to me reads like, I don't need that right now. I need information. Like she's screaming at him. And she's like, my phone doesn't have the internet because that needs to be fucking explained. So she's like, my phone doesn't have internet. I need you guys to tell me what ALS is and how does my dad get rid of it? She's going to fucking cure this thing. He just said they did tons of tests, but she's going to cure it with these guys on the fucking internet in a couple seconds. I don't know, but let me look. This is what the one guy says. The nerdy dude. He's back at the hideout. I don't know, but let me look it up. My search is directing me to www.alsa.org. Obviously, these are the people that paid for the comic and are trying to raise awareness in the weirdest fucking way possible to this disease. Because all these kids are just like, without understanding it, if they just read this, are they going to be like, well, my dad dropped a soda? In fact, my dad dropped a whole bowl of ice cream when he saw Fred Hembeck. His spinal cord is fucking fucked. Now what? So the guy goes on to give the most jarring and disturbing fucking information about ALS over the phone, talking about basically he's going to die, right?
It says,
there's no cure.
because their life expectancy is 2 to 5 years.
How long's he had it? Ooh. A year, 364 days.
Yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as if he's the doctor. He's reading it off a fucking internet site. All right, guys, I got to get back to my dad. So she goes back to the dad, and he's like, he goes, it's going to be okay, Heather. We'll get through this. She goes, no, we won't. No, we won't, Dad. This isn't just something that can go away. There is no cure. It just leads to the inevitable.
And then there's just a silent panel of them hugging.
Yeah, she's crying. And he's like, I'm going to die. Like, what a negative Nelly she is.
It was like you're going into the gates, you're getting a free comic book, you're there with your kids, you're everything. It's a beautiful day out. You read this comic book and you're just like, you're fucking super depressed.
Yeah, hey, let's leave through this. What? So they're at the game, and if you look at the game, it's like it must have. I mean, it looks like
there's not one picture of a fucking baseball player in this whole book.
There's not even any fans. It looks like they're sitting in an abandoned
I know why
stadium.
he did that.
He doesn't want to draw people.
He doesn't want to draw a million people in the background.
Right. So then she starts taking him to task, and she's annoyed at him. She's actually, her body language in this panel, she's turned away from him.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And she's just like, whatever, Dad. We're going to be spending a lot of time together, and I want that time to be filled with fun memories, not us moping around feeling sorry for me. And then he threatens to tickle her.
That I found weird.
That's a little strange. But she's really kind of holding it against the guy that he during
it's his fault.
Yeah, he's like I didn't want to tell you during a baseball game. He's like, I basically just had an episode that only serves to remind me I'm going to die. And there's something going wrong that I can't possibly control. Medical science, as far as it's advanced, has no fucking answer for me. I just dropped a soda that I probably paid $9 for on top of it all. And you're going to fucking give me shit and then walk away and talk to your fucking stupid friends. So they're back in the car.
It's weeks later, right?
Yeah. They go back to the game. And
no. They go back to another. They go to another stadium.
They go to a stadium, and he says, no one is here, but the pocket schedule says they have a game today. She's like, let me look. Dad, this is a 2009 schedule. So his mind is going. His mind is going a week later. The degeneration has taken hold, and he's fucking already at a point where he's like, I don't even know what year it is. So they then sneak into the fucking... They sneak into the what's it called?
She
the
has
field or whatever.
superpowers. Let's not forget. Somehow, some way, they were going to like, well, it's a comic book. We got to have somebody with superpowers.
They shoehorn it in.
Yeah, it's like we've got room for superheroes or baseball, but not both. Well, we came up with the idea of superheroes and baseball, but we got to pick one now because we don't got that many pages, and this fucking dude doesn't want to draw so many people.
So she flies over the iron gates.
Well, it looks like she melts it, actually. Like in this panel, she melts it with her hand. She melts the lock.
Well, so the father can get in.
Right, because he can't fly.
Oh, yeah.
That's Tell me
She
about
flies
comics,
over the
dude.
wall. She melts the gate. I don't know why she had to why she had to fly over the wall. Just melt the gate from the other side.
Yeah, she's at the gate. Oh, it looks like she melts it
Right?
from the inside.
Yeah, why would she need to do
Well,
that?
maybe a father was.
Oh, she didn't want her dad to see it.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
And he doesn't mention it. He doesn't
Well, he
mention
didn't
like,
see it because the final reveal is she lets him in the stadium, the empty stadium, and he's like, "I don't know if we should do this."
You're just like your mother. Crazy.
So then she walks him to the pitcher's mound, holds his hand, and then what?
Oh, well, she says, well, he keeps talking about breaking and entering and how scared he is of it. And he says, they're talking about having a moment, I guess. And he's like, breaking and entering into a ballpark, the moment my daughter and I went to jail, which one are you thinking of? Because I guess he thinks they're going to go to jail. And she's like, neither. I was talking about the time that I told you my biggest secret. Look down. That's what the girl says. That'd be great if it was like
Shit, a cock.
sleepaway camp. Yeah, she has a giant fucking boner. And then the next panel is they're flying around. And he's like, oh my, what the? And then she says, stay calm, you're safe. You know those kids with powers? I'm one of them, and there's a bunch of us at home. Like what, his house or his hometown? We don't know how long these abilities will last, but we have them. I'll tell you, they're going to last for the length of this comic book because nobody's going to print the fucking follow-up to this thing. And then they just start fucking flying around all over the place saying that they love each other. And then he says, I can't believe my girl can fly. And she says, I can do more than fly. But that is a conversation on another day. Whoa, what the fuck's that mean?
He did want to tickle her very oddly before. So
For another day. Besides, this isn't flying, this is hovering. And then they're like, this is flying. And then they're real high in the air. And then the next panel is for more information on a fucking life-ending disease. It doesn't say that. But for more information, go to alsa.org. Your help is critical to the commitment. Look, I understand they need to raise awareness, but what a fucking weird way to do it, right?
Oh, it was a mind blowing when I read that. I was just stupefied.